Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Andriawan Saputra. In this time, I would like to present about teaching reading using flashcard. A flashcard is a card bearing information on both sides, which is intended to be used as an aid in memorization. Each flashcard bears a question on one side and answer on the other. Flashcards are often used to memorize vocabulary, historical dates, formula, or any subject matter that can be learned via a question and answer format. Flashcard can be virtual part of a flashcard software or physical. Flashcards are an application of the testing effect, the finding that long-term memory is increased when some of the learning period is devoted to retrieving the information through testing with proper feedback. Study habits affect the rate at which a flashcard user learns, and proper spacing of flashcard has been proven to accelerate learning. A number of spaced repetition software programs exist which take advantage of this principle. Steps in implementing in the strategy. First, point arrays to the flashcard. 2. Stick flashcard around the class. Third, say one of them and student point arrays to it. 4. Student can then give the instruction to classmate. 5th, you can extend by saying hope to the cat or even if you have blonde hair, swim to the fish, etc. 6. You can also incorporate flashcard into a game of Simon Says. Simon Says, jump to the teacher, etc. That's all from me. Thank you very much for listening to my explanation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Vina Rahmadiana. In here, I would like to explain you about rapid word recognition chart. Rapid word recognition chart is a way to improve speed of recognition for words with an irregular element. Is the use of rapid words recognition chart. The chart is similar to rapid serial naming tags. After a brief review of the words, students are timed for 1 minute as they read the words in their squarest sound. This is an example of rapid word chart. We can fruit or step in implementing the strategy. First is prepare a game board. Take a blank sheet of paper and number it on the paper. Next, under each number write a word that is easy for students, such as kind of fruit or Next, this letter or word can be written in post-it notes. This is the easy way. Give different instruction. Each student can have a collection of letters or words to practice. Be sure to review the words with students and have students work in group of 3 or play the games Quick 6. Next, a student will become a reader. A student will be the graduation of time. One, the student will be the score. Next, students who are readers will need dice and score cards. Scored can be for individuals or groups. The time will require a watch with a second hand. The score will need a sheet of paper and pencil. A timer will tell the reader when to start and when to stop. This is recommended that readers read for a minute or less. The reader will note the dice, determine the number displayed, then read the word under that number. Next, the scorekeeper will create a tally mark for each word that is read correctly. Eventually, from the time specified by the score calculates the tally and the reading value record the number on the scorecard. Next, group members then change rules until everyone has had an opportunity to do so be a reader. This is a loop. Next, depending on the time available, more than one round can be played. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, my name is Dadang Anurudin. In this time, I will explain you about teaching reading using word world games to young learners. Word world is a collection of words which are displayed in large visible letters on a wall, bulletin board, or other display surface in a classroom. The word wall is designed to be an interactive tool for students and contains an array of words that can be used during writing and reading. Steps in implementing the strategy. The first, make the most commonly used word by placing them on the wall. The second, the teacher read the words affixed to the wall. The third, students together mimic the words read by the teacher. The fourth, the teacher pointed to the student to read the words affixed to the wall. The fifth, the teacher give a gift. That's all from me. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alif Syafitri N. I will explain about my material. The title from my material is How to Add Reading into Everyday Life for Inclusion Readers. Even for children who are not bookworms, reading is a big part of life, and there are plenty of ways to develop language and reading skills that don't involve reading books or textbooks. Try these strategies to integrate reading-focused skills into your readers' everyday life. This is strategy to integrate reading-focused skills into your readers' everyday life. 1. Talk about TV and movies. Encourage your child to tell you about the shows he watched. Have him retell the plot and describe the characters to boost his sense of narrative, story, and general comprehension skills. 2. Based on the book or the movie. It is great to give your child the book of a movie she liked, but also encourage reading by giving her books based on TV shows and movies that she already watches. 3. Read funny favorites. Share comics, articles, jokes, and stories that make you laugh with your child. Read them aloud during breakfast or make it an after-school ritual. Ask him to tell you his funny anecdotes. 4. Books aplenty. Make sure that there are books available to your child in every room of the house and everywhere she goes. From having magazines in the car to bringing a comic book for her to read while waiting online. 5. Read in public. Let your child see that you like to read for fun. It's important to show that you enjoy reading and make time for it if you expect him to believe that reading is a fun fundamental. 6. Interactive is interesting. Use the internet with your child to explore a subject she enjoys. Try to find sites that include fun graphics or games and are not too text heavy. 7. Get a subscription. Kids enjoy getting mail, and a subscription to kids magazines will give him something to look forward to every month. That is his. The idea that the magazine is just for him makes it more appealing to read. 8. Go to story house, readings and plays. So that a lot of kids and adults enjoy books by going to readings and story house at your local library or bookstore. Plays are especially great since they are a form of literary designed not to be read, but to be seen. 9. Introduce Speak Latin. Make learning a new language a fun experience by teaching your child to speak in Big Latin. The idea of talking in Kote is appealing and will actually develop your child's ability to mentally picture words, figure out how they are spelled, and rearrange the letters within them. This is my reference from my article. That's all. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Gaung Adji and I will explain about teaching reading using library methods. Okay, as you know, growing interest in reading is not easy. A person can have intrinsic motivation to love reading. Therefore, the main target that is easiest to do is to familiarize them with visiting the library. According to Fanesha, children should be accustomed to visiting the library before entering school age. It is an important starting point for intellectual and academic and social inspiration for their generations. Reading books and literacy from an early age will make it easier for children to be interested in learning. Okay, number 1 is children can learn to obey rules. Okay, when taking children to the library, of course, the children will know the rules which of course must be obeyed, such as not being allowed to speak in a voice that is too loud because it will disturb other library visitors. Teaching the children to return the books they have taken to their original places after reading neatly. Okay, number 2 is encourage children's interest in reading. By visiting the library, children will understand that the library is a place to read books as well as a place to study. When he meets many people reading and studying, he will be interested in reading and studying. Okay, means of teaching reading. If the child cannot read yet, visiting the library is one of the appropriate means of teaching children to learn to read. You can also read storybooks or fairy tales from books that are already available in the library, and then helps improve children's imagination. In early childhood development, children have a very broad imagination. By taking children to a library or even to a bookstore can help children increase their imagination. When in the library or bookstore, children will find various kinds of books that can attract their attention. Of course, by asking various kinds of questions, you must be ready to answer them. Okay? Teach children to love books. Children who love books and like to read are not in a flash. It takes patience in fostering a child's love for reading interest. For that, there are several ways and suggestions to encourage children's reading interest, including provide a book that is appropriate for the child age, be selective in choosing book, take turns talking with the children. Okay, thank you. That's from me, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fanesha Pratiwi. Later I will explain about teaching reading by using set word parking lot game. Number 1. Overview. The site word parking lot game has the student parking a toy car in a parking space matching a particular word provided by the teacher. The game gives the student sight word repetition to with speed and confidence in recognizing their sight word. Number 2. Material. The game requires only a parking lot made with tape and a toy car or other figurine. 2.1. Masking tape or spider tape. 2.2. Set water flashcards. 2.3. Small toy car or other figurine. As an alternative to the toy car, you can use any small figurine. Be flexible and use whatever will capture and hold your child's attention. If your child prefers horse to car, use a horse figurine and call this the stable game. Print out some set word flashcards using pre-made templates or costume flashcard creator. Then use masking tape or spider tape to create a parking lot on the floor or table. Make sure the parking spaces are left enough to match the sign of the toy and the flashcard you are using. The more space you have, the more what you can cover in the game. Number 3. Activity. Have the child sit in front of the parking lot holding their toy car. If the child gets the word right, you confirm that they are correct. They get to park the car on that word, and then you move on to another word. If the child can find the word or select the wrong word, good luck or standard said word correction producer to review the word. Call out another word and then another until the child has successfully found and parked on other word in the parking lot multiple times. Once a child has a bit of experience with the game, they can fly by themselves, coming to you only at the end of the game with any word that they had trouble with pointing. Number 4. Variant. We can make the game harder, easier, or just different with this variant. 4.1. Introduce the word first. You can make the game a little easier by introducing all the words at the start of the game. Before you start playing, the teacher and the student read all the words on the board together. This is particularly useful when you are working with new words. 4.2. Two-player. Two more advantages. Children can play the game without needing an adult. with one player taking the role of teacher and choosing the word. You simply need one toy car or other figurine for each player. The first player chooses a word and announces it, while the second player has to find the word. The first player then checks the word and says another word. After a few minutes, the players withdraws. 4.3 Large lot. Make the game more difficult by making a large parking lot with more parking space. The extra space makes searching and finding a single word more challenging. 4.4 Reverse parking lot. In the reverse game, the teacher parks the car on a word and asks the student to tell them what word the R part one. This variant is a little harder than the basic form of the game because the skill has to recognize the word clearly, start sit reading without having the benefit of hearing the word first. Number 5. Assessment. The game lends itself well toward assessment. It is easy to observe with what the child has mastered and which word needs more work, so that you can take inventory of progress or learning new word. Mastery of the word in this exercise requires the child to be able to constantly find the correct word within 5 seconds for 100% of the word paying practice. This is all for me. If there is more or less, I apologize profusely. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Zakaria Putra Ihwanul Qirom. I'm from TPE 5th semester. I will explain you about teaching reading using rhyme reading. So rhyme reading is activity is fast-paced and lively and improve word recognition speed and confidence in reading. I found this skill back when I was elementary school. My teacher used this skill to teach English to me and my friend. So, this activity is fast-paced and lively and improve word recognition, speed, confidence in reading. Choose a reading passage, usually one page if using a basic text, maybe one paragraph if using a more advanced one. Start a rhythm. The teacher start a rhythm, sometimes like, clapping and tapping, and just one student to start. Each student must read one sentences or word if you will exactly on the beat and pronounce it correctly. So the student must sing it and read the paragraph. So immediately after the first student finish, the next student start with the next sentence and so on. If somebody, it's like a punishment game or kind of like that. If someone misses a beat or stumbles afterward, they lose or they're dead or they're out. Exactly. If you use the out method, it isn't so bad because the out students help to keep the beat and follow along. In my experience, all students, whether out or not, have focused intensity on the reading like hogs to hear someone's mistake. Of course, you can vary the tempo, making it much easier or much harder. But yeah, I think for Rachma rating for teaching English is very, I will say very successful method because the student can have a fun and they can still learning. This game can also played as a team game, so which team can make it to the end to the best on beat with stumbles or with no stumble or mispronunciation will win. So kind of like that. So that's my explanation about rating. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for listening my explanation about teaching reading using rhyme reading. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.